My friend, let me tell you something straight from the heart. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to fake that smile, hold back those tears, or act like you're not tired of the weight you've been carrying. Your struggle is seen, and your pain is not ignored. That statement may be simple, but it carries weight, the kind of weight that wraps around your soul when you've been walking through darkness and wondering if anyone even notices. It's easy to feel invisible when life becomes overwhelming. When you wake up every day fighting battles no one knows about, when you smile through pain, when you show up while you're breaking inside, it's easy to believe that no one sees the truth behind your eyes. People might compliment your strength, your grace, your resilience, but they don't always know the cost of it. They don't see the late nights where sleep is replaced by overthinking, or the mornings when it takes everything in you just to get out of bed. They don't hear the silent prayers or the whispered cries into your pillow. And after a while, when the struggle continues, you begin to wonder if even God notices. But let this truth settle deep inside your chest: your struggle is seen. Every tear you've cried in private is seen. Every time you've had to pull yourself together just to make it through another day, someone sees it. Every moment you've had to be strong for others while you felt weak yourself, it's acknowledged. Nothing you go through is invisible, even if it feels like your pain is tucked away in the corners of your life where no one looks. It's still visible to the one who sees it all. Not just the surface stuff, not just the parts you choose to share, but the depths, the raw, unfiltered depths of your story. There's something powerful about knowing you are seen, truly seen, not judged, not dismissed, not compared to someone else's path, just deeply, compassionately seen. That kind of recognition speaks to the soul in a way nothing else can, because when you're walking through struggle, what you crave isn't always answers. Sometimes it's just connection. Sometimes it's the comfort of knowing you're not walking alone. You want to know that your suffering has not gone unnoticed, that your efforts, your resilience, your heartache, they matter. When you feel invisible, hopelessness creeps in. When your pain feels ignored, you start to believe lies about your worth, your future, your purpose. But when you remember that your pain is seen, it brings clarity. It brings perspective. It reminds you that your life, even in its most broken state, is still full of value. You're not just going through the motions. You're growing even in the pain. You're becoming even in the struggle. You're not forgotten. You're not left behind. You're not being punished. You're being refined. You are seen in the moments you think you're not doing enough. You are seen when you're barely holding on, when you're crying out in frustration because you can't understand why life has to be so heavy. You are seen when you're surrounded by people but still feel alone. You are seen when you fake the laugh, nod your head, and say you're fine even though you're not. You are seen when you feel like quitting, like letting go, like disappearing. You are seen in the shadows just as clearly as you are in the spotlight. And it's not just your struggle that's seen, it's your heart in the middle of it. It's the way you keep trying even when you're tired. It's the way you love people deeply even though you feel empty. It's the way you fight through fear and doubt even when you don't feel brave. It's the way you carry your past but still show up for your future. That kind of strength is rare. That kind of soul deserves recognition. You don't have to perform to be noticed. You don't have to pretend to be okay to be worthy of attention. You don't have to be loud or perfect or successful to matter. You don't have to explain the depths of your struggle for it to be valid. You don't need to justify your pain or compare it to someone else's story. What you're carrying is heavy for you, and that's enough. You don't need permission to feel it. You don't need to apologize for it. The world may not understand what you're dealing with behind closed doors, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And just because others can't see it, doesn't mean he doesn't. Being seen in your struggle, doesn't always mean your circumstances change immediately. It doesn't mean the pain goes away or the storm calms down in an instant. But it does mean you are not walking through it unseen, unheard, unloved. It means there is compassion covering you, even when comfort feels distant. It means your story is still unfolding, and nothing, not even your hardest moments, is wasted. There is purpose even in the pain. There is beauty even in the brokenness. There is meaning even when life feels meaningless. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to collapse in public for someone to notice you're weary. You don't have to explain why you're not okay every minute of every day. Your struggle, in all its quiet and messy and exhausting ways, is enough. It is seen, it is held. It is carried by something greater than your own strength. When the nights get long and the days feel endless, remember this truth. You are not overlooked. Your effort is seen. Your bravery is seen. The fact that you keep choosing to move forward, even when every part of you wants to stop, that is seen. The way you carry yourself when you're breaking on the inside, that is seen. The way you've kept your faith alive, even if it's just a flicker, that is seen. You're not too far gone. You're not too broken. You're not too messy. You're not forgotten. Nothing you've endured has slipped through the cracks unnoticed. Every single step, every single breath, every single tear, it's been seen. Being tired doesn't mean you're done. It means you've endured. It means you've been carrying more than most people know, pushing through days that felt impossible, and showing up even when you had every reason to stay down. Tiredness isn't a sign of failure. It's the evidence of your strength. It's the mark of someone who has stayed in the fight, who has kept going when giving up would have been the easier option. So many people confuse exhaustion with weakness, but the truth is, you only get tired from effort. You only feel weary from the weight of something you've been carrying for a long time. And that means you've been holding on, even if just barely. There's a kind of tired that goes deeper than the body. It's not about needing sleep or a break, it's soul deep. It's the kind of tired that comes from disappointment, from loss, from heartbreak that doesn't seem to heal. It's the tired that shows up when you've been praying for answers that haven't come, when you've been working hard with no sign of progress, when you've given your best and still feel like you're falling short. That's the kind of tired that doesn't go away with a nap or a weekend off. It's the kind of tired that lingers in the background of your thoughts, that follows you into your quiet moments and whispers that maybe you can't keep going. But here's the truth that tiredness tries to hide from you. You're still here. Yes, you're tired. Yes, you've thought about quitting. Yes, it's been hard, but you're still here, and that says more about you than anything else. It says that you're resilient. It says that you've endured. It says that something inside you refuses to give up, no matter how heavy the burden gets. That kind of strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from struggle. It comes from having every reason to stop and still choosing to move forward. When you're tired, it's easy to feel like nothing you're doing matters. You look around and see others moving faster, doing more, succeeding with what looks like ease. And there you are, barely holding it together, wondering if you've fallen behind, wondering if you've missed your moment. But being tired doesn't mean you're behind. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've poured your energy into something that mattered to you. It means you've loved deeply, tried courageously, fought quietly. It means you've shown up on days when no one else saw what it cost you. You may not be moving as fast as you once were. Maybe your pace has slowed. Maybe your steps are smaller now. That's okay. Endurance isn't about speed, it's about consistency. It's about staying when everything else tells you to walk away. It's about continuing when the fire is gone and the inspiration fades. That's when true endurance shows up, not when everything is going well, but when everything is hard and you're still willing to stand. Being tired just means you've been walking through the storm for longer than expected, but that doesn't mean the storm has won. Sometimes being tired is a sign you're doing it right, not because struggle is proof of success, but because growth takes energy. Healing takes energy. Changing, becoming, stepping into purpose, all of that takes more out of you than most people realize. You are stretching in ways you weren't before. You are evolving into someone who can handle more, who knows more, who feels deeper. That process is exhausting, but it's meaningful. You are being molded, shaped by every challenge, and even though it's wearing you down physically or emotionally, it's building you internally in ways that can't be undone. When you're tired, it's tempting to withdraw, to isolate, to believe the lie that no one understands. But there are people who have felt what you're feeling. There are others who have walked through the same kind of exhaustion, the burnout, the heartbreak, the endless responsibilities. And just like you, they've felt like it would never end. But it does. It doesn't always happen in a moment. Sometimes the change is slow. Sometimes the strength returns one breath at a time. But it happens. Not because you force it, but because rest comes to those who endure. Peace finds those who stay faithful. Renewal follows weariness when you don't give up. Your tiredness doesn't make you less valuable. It doesn't make your voice any quieter, your story any smaller. You don't have to be full of energy to be full of purpose. You don't have to be smiling all the time to be strong. You don't have to be thriving to be worthy of love and grace and compassion. Being tired just means you're human. It means you've been giving yourself to something meaningful, and that takes a toll. It means you're in the middle of the fight, not at the end of it. And that's where some of the most powerful transformation takes place, not in the mountaintop moments, but in the quiet, unseen, exhausted places where you decide not to quit. You might not be where you want to be yet. Maybe things haven't worked out the way you hoped. Maybe the dream is taking longer than expected. Maybe the weight you carry feels heavier with every passing day. But your tiredness doesn't mean you've lost your way. It means you've been carrying something important. It means you've been invested. It means your heart has been in it, whatever it is. Whether it's your family, your calling, your healing, your recovery, your faith, you've been showing up for something that matters. And that kind of commitment costs something. Of course, you're tired, but don't confuse your fatigue with failure. Don't mislabel your exhaustion as weakness. They are signs that you've been moving through life with intention. They are reminders that you're not numb. You feel things deeply. You care. You try. And even when it hurts, even when it drains you, you keep going. That's not defeat. That's endurance. That's courage. That's proof of a heart that refuses to give up even when it's tired. So now you've heard it, the struggle, the tiredness, the pain, the unseen weight you've been carrying. None of it has gone unnoticed. You've walked through fire and kept your hope alive. You've survived things that should have broken you. You've endured nights when peace felt like a stranger and mornings when the idea of trying again felt impossible. And yet here you are, breathing, standing, pressing forward. You might be scarred, bruised, weary to the bone, but you are still here. That matters. That means something. Because if nothing else, your survival is proof of your strength. Your presence is proof of your endurance, and your story is still being written. You may not recognize it yet, but every tired breath, every whispered prayer, every tear that you've cried in silence has been recorded in the story of who you are becoming. None of it is wasted. The long nights, the silent battles, the emotional weight, they've shaped you. They've refined you, and yes, they've worn you out, but they've also prepared you for something greater than you know. You see, you can't come out of pain the same way you went in. You grow in it, you stretch in it, you rise through it. What you're carrying may be heavy, but what it's building inside you is even stronger. Some people will never understand what it took for you to keep going. They'll never see the internal war you fought just to smile, just to show up, just to stay kind when your world was anything but. And that's okay. Your strength doesn't need to be proven to everyone, it just needs to be acknowledged by the one who sees it all. The truth is, you don't need a crowd to validate your journey. You don't need applause to confirm your worth. The fact that you've continued to move forward when quitting seemed easier, that's all the proof you need that something greater is at work within you. It's okay to admit that you're tired. It's okay to acknowledge that you've been in a long fight. You don't have to keep pretending that you're invincible. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's honesty. And sometimes admitting that you're worn out is the very thing that opens the door for healing to begin. There is no shame in saying, I'm struggling. There is no shame in saying, I need rest. There is wisdom in recognizing your limits. There is power in knowing when to lay it down, even just for a moment, and let yourself breathe again. Maybe you've been so busy surviving that you forgot you're allowed to feel. Maybe you've been in fight mode so long that rest feels foreign, even unsafe. But you weren't created to live in constant exhaustion. You weren't made to always be in survival mode. There is a place for you to recover. There is space for your soul to find peace again. And that doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. You're not a machine. You're not a robot built to perform. You are a soul, a heart, a spirit, and all of those need care, need compassion, need time to breathe. And yes, people may see the version of you that keeps it all together, but the one who matters sees the real you, the tired, worn-out, still trying version. He sees the you that keeps showing up even when it feels like no one notices. He sees the you that puts one foot in front of the other even when your legs feel like giving out. He sees the you that holds hope in trembling hands, refusing to let it go. And he is not blind to any of it. You are not invisible to him. Your tiredness is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you've been running the race with everything inside you. So if you're feeling weary, don't condemn yourself. Don't assume you're at the end of the road just because you're low on strength. Maybe this is the moment before the breakthrough. Maybe this is the valley before the rise. Maybe the tiredness you feel is the echo of everything you've overcome and a reminder that even in weakness, you are still here, still standing, still fighting. That's not defeat. That's resilience. Take a moment to look at how far you've come, not just the physical distance, but the emotional terrain you've traveled, the mountains of anxiety you've climbed, the rivers of grief you've crossed, the deserts of doubt you've wandered through. And still you're here. You didn't quit. You didn't cave. And even if you stumbled, even if you had to crawl, you moved forward. You endured. What's coming next may not be clear. The future might still look foggy. But if your past has shown you anything, it's that you have what it takes to keep going. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a 5-step plan. You just need to breathe, to rest, and to trust that what's been planted in pain will bloom in purpose. You may be in the middle of the struggle now, but that's not where your story ends. This chapter may be full of tears and tiredness, but that's not the end of the book. There is more ahead. There is restoration ahead. There is healing ahead. There is peace ahead. And while you wait, while you walk, while you press on, remember that being tired isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign that you're still fighting, that you're still alive, that you still believe this journey is worth it, and it is. So hold on, even if your grip is loose, even if your faith is small, even if your energy is gone, hold on, because something beautiful is being formed in the fire. Something stronger is rising from the ashes. Something deeper is being written into your soul, the kind of strength that doesn't shout but stands firm. The kind of hope that isn't loud but steady. The kind of faith that doesn't need to be seen to be real. You are not done. You are not defeated. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are seen. You are valued. You are loved. And you are not finished yet.